I hope all of you had a great Veterans Day. I did literally nothing. I wrote some software and that was it. That's all I did. Didn't go out, didn't get a free IHOP dinner or lunch or whatever it is they give away. I didn't do anything. I hope all of you had a great Veterans Day, especially McPhee over there. I saw you finally got your account up and running. You're actually actively posting now. That's amazing. After all the interviews, you finally figured out how to do this internet thing. To the crux of the point, Donald Trump, let me go find his exact wordage. See if I can find it on Truth Central or wherever he calls his website of his. Basically stated he doesn't see any talent in the American workforce. Basically, that's what it breaks down to. He doesn't see any talent in the tech industry, I assume, and that's why the work visa still exists. And I'd just like to say that's a epic betrayal because the entirety of his platform was to end NAFTA and put Americans back to work in our own companies again. That's the entirety of his platform. That's what MAGA was founded on. And all the principles by which he was elected to the office of the president for in 2016 centered around this. We wanted NAFTA to be gone. He renegotiated a less terrible version of NAFTA, but it's still terrible. And now we're getting flooded by visa workers, not just H-1B, it's all of them. We don't want it. As Americans, we don't want all these people in the country taking up jobs that Americans should be able to have a right to qualify and earn themselves. And the reason why is because it's America first, not India first. And while you may or may not agree with any of what I have to say about, being America first and wanting the United States to look after its own people, not foreign people from another country, who likely will never either be American and probably don't deserve the opportunity in the first place because the odds of them having lied to get here and get these positions that they have is greater than 20%. Greater than 20% of them have fake degrees that we know of. We can't prove it because I'm not going to go around and start subpoenaing everyone. I'm not going to go around and start grabbing everyone's, paperwork out of their hands and say, belong here. Although there should probably be done, like to validate, to make sure these people actually legitimately are here for legal reasons. And that's a thing. That's actually a thing. And I disagree with anybody whom is saying otherwise. And that's how he's going to do that. Then again, it could be someone yelling and lying. It's the problem with X these days. You can't tell because legitimate accounts will post fake stuff all the time. So I'm looking at Truth Central to see if I can find it. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Likely it's a lie. But if this is anybody's position, no thank you. Get out of here. You don't belong here. This is not realistic. And the reason why is because if you actually believe that the university system, which produces the majority of the world's experts in pick a field and educated most of the high-tech specialists in the world out of Japan, Korea, and these other countries, in the Philippines and stuff like that, cannot produce high skill level, highly educated, talented tech workers or scientists or professionals in any of those STEM fields. And we created the fields ourselves. We invented some of this stuff, invented almost all of it here in the United States using American talent. Then you truly should not be a leader in the United States of any American at all. This This is our simple premise of America First, is we invented this stuff. We have the capability of going further through free markets, free enterprise, freedom of association, freedom of dissociation, so we don't have to interact and be forced to interact with people who are detrimental to our business causes or our business interests or our future interests in our intellectual endeavors or our business endeavors. These are the principles by which Americans live by. These are the principles which allow American commerce to function and operate smoothly, efficiently, without issue, without error, without anybody interfering. It is the only way that this is going to work. Our trade agreements are not exactly fair. The tariffs kind of balance them out and all this other stuff. And you could have this argument, this libertarian argument. I understand where it comes from. It's a very soft, moderate libertarian, very left libertarian principles of saying that we have this responsibility to not tariff, to not have trade agreements, any of this other stuff. But the power of the contract states that individuals have the right to petition for themselves. This is a founding libertarian principle. And if this libertarianism is the thing by which you're grounding your personal philosophy by, or whether the way you view the world, then you have to understand that we're allowed to disagree with you. And we do. We've said it. We disagree with you. There's no conversation there anymore. We openly disagree that tariffs are bad. We don't agree with you. And we do think that the Federal Reserve can fix most of this problem by raising interest rates. And if you disagree with us, well, I would like a system where we have multitudes of currencies as well. We have that now. Cryptocurrency. Hi. How you doing? And the principles by which Bitcoin was founded also are a part of libertarianism. They coincide. They link up. Whether or not you think gold and silver should be money, Peter Schiff has a channel. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't disagree with you. I don't agree with you. I just don't think currencies and monies need to be conflated with each other. And I do agree with the non-fungibility of currencies and money. I would like to see non-fungible currencies and money because a dollar that was saved 10 years ago clearly is non-fungible, because if you saved it in your savings account, it's accrued interest and it's produced way more. I think that $1 should have more value. But instead of doing that, we just do implicative inflationary policies instead. But, the crux of inflation is not necessarily more of something. It's more necessarily that it's fungible. Its elasticity does exist, but it's fungible. And this is why we're going into this conversation. Non-fungible transactions should occur. We should have a more barter-like system, because barter systems experience very low inflation, if any at all. And it's only when you abstract the fungibility across a currency or a denominated money or a fiat currency, or like a certificate system. So you have certificates, and we'll just pick up this one. Say that's a certificate. That's your stop certificate. What is it? It's a stop certificate. I'm not going to tell you what this is for, what it's from, but the monetary value will just say $5. And the longer I hold it, the more it's worth, right? And that would be the non-fungibility of certificates, because this is the only one. This is the only one of them, okay? If you had one, then maybe you would have more than $5, because maybe yours is worth more to you because you staked it. Maybe something like that. I don't know. I've been working on this a long time. I have understood most of it. Like the fungibility of currency is the crux of the problem. The fact that we can't get around taking a currency from being fungible to non-fungible to produce a store of value that can incrementally increase its store of value. And why would it be a store of value? Because of its utility within the economy. A non-fungible item has greater utility if it's a functional item. So it has to be obviously a durable good, so we have to create something that's durable to be as a non-fungible entity. But we can't do that because we do lack the ability to manufacture things like that. This is one take. I only do one take. It's hot takes off the cuff. I don't have a script. So you have to forgive me. I'm not doing any of this fancy. I'm not into journalism. I'm not a journalist. This is my cell phone. I don't even own a webcam. I probably never will. And if I do buy a camera, I was looking at buying a microscope camera to do microscope stuff and attach a lens to it, like a camera lens. And there are some fine vibration motor cameras that I saw that I was looking at picking up to do microscope stuff with. But this is off the cuff. This is completely off the cuff. But the reason why we didn't want NAFTA is because what it did is create a non-fungible token that we couldn't turn into a fungible token. Like, it made China the manufacturing base and made it so we couldn't manufacture here. Do you understand? So we couldn't take the Chinese manufacturing and set it up here to reduce our costs of interacting with China, like our moral and spiritual costs or our monetarily costs, because we came up with a different way of doing it because we couldn't compete against what amounts to slave labor, people getting paid very low wages for literally nothing. Do you understand? It made China fungible, non-fungible. It made manufacturing non-fungible because essentially it is non-fungible because it has to be moved around. You have to have capital resources to set it up somewhere. So if you don't understand what I'm trying to put forth, I'm saying that we need manufacturing here because it being non-fungible, it's a durable, and its flexibility, because it's a flexible utility, it cannot maintain its value if it's over there because we can't tell people in China how to rearrange their machines to do something differently to be more efficient or to do something differently to fulfill a different manufacturing role. If we own it here, we can take it and rearrange the machines to be more efficient, to be faster, reduce our costs, or we could move stuff around and make it more productive or to produce something else of a similar vein. We can't, do you understand now the fungibility of currency? If manufacturing is viewed as a currency, it's the same thing. I view everything as a currency. If it's not a human person or something of that nature, it's basically a currency. Your property is your value. In this instance, when the conversation goes to what can you manufacture, your property is your value. If you own a CNC mill, you can pretty much manufacture anything. There's nothing on the planet you can't manufacture. If you have a 5-axis machine, you can basically build other machines that make other machines that make other machines. Your elasticity is extremely stretchy, very long. You have a very long chain of flexibility where you can go into one lane, they retract, and then produce another machine that does other things. So that's a non-fungible item. You can't replace a 5-axis mill with a lathe. Do you understand? You can make a 5-axis mill with a lathe, but you can't replace a 5-axis mill with a lathe. And so its non-fungible utility exists. But everything that it produces is fungible. You can produce all the different chains of construction you want, and this is what Americans used to do. Say, oh, I want to invent this. I have no access to. Luckily, I have access to a machine shop. It's literally right down the road from me. But it's walking distance. It's like a 2-minute walk from me. Like out the door and it's right there. Luckily, I have that, but most Americans do not. Most Americans would have to contact somebody in China to keep their costs down and do all that stuff with the Chinese. Not saying that the Chinese people don't deserve to have a living wage. I'm saying that Americans should be the priority here in this conversation. There's nobody that should be put forward before Americans, and that includes visa workers. And I'm going to be bluntly honest. If you think you're going to put somebody before metal workers, obviously the food chain is we need lots of construction workers, a lot of metal workers, a lot of line workers, construction, lines, electricity, just to get the power plants up. Once we get the power plants up, then we can worry about the rest of the infrastructure, which we need machinists. We need lots of machine tools. We don't have any in the United States. Bridgeport's the only company left that I'm aware of that produces machine tools in the United States. If there are others, I'm certain somebody can correct me. Maybe Milwaukee has a line coming out of Milwaukee has a line of 5-axis mills that they're deciding to play out, and it's going to go with their hand tools or something. But we need a lot of infrastructure before we get to the point where we can compete with anyone on any kind of logistic level economically. And the space race we're trying to perform here is not going to happen. We need carbon fiber. We need high stretch elastomers like ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. We need there's some other ones that we need that NASA has the ingredients for. They have a list of how to make them. You have to go contact NASA. This stuff's open source. They tell you exactly what the chemical composition is. They'll even tell you how to manufacture it, but you need to be able to produce them in the first place. So we have a long list of materials if you don't want to purchase them. There's Rocket Lab produces some of them out of another laboratory. There's a whole long list of things that we need to push material science forward. Material science used to be the #1 engineering program within the United States, and now it's basically non-existent. So we have a long list of things that we have to produce here. We only have a handful of companies making carbon fiber, which makes carbon fiber really expensive, and we need some more of that. Me personally, that's what I see. If you're an expert, you're an expert, whatever. Go be an expert on your own channel. On my channel, I'm the expert because I'm the only guy on the camera. But we need machine tools, which means lots of tool steel, lots of CNC machines. Carbon fiber, we need lots of carbon fiber. A lot of carbon fiber. We need a lot of silicates. A lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff. And that's just to get to the point where we can manufacture semiconductors at the scale that we need them for current demands to bring the cost down for the next generation to be reasonably costed. And it's not going to happen. The next generation is going to be more and more expensive. We're still looking at GPUs that were released 8 months ago are still like $4,000. Like that's obscene. That's obscene. Top of the line GPU is going for $3,000 to $4,000 still. That is obscene. Those costs need to come down. I don't think that's NVIDIA doing that. Jensen doesn't have much control over his yields. He only has control over the company itself. Not who are fab now, TSMC? Not the yield of TSMC's laboratories when they produce the stuff for them. But anyways, obviously, work visas are a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. We don't need that. We don't need any of that stuff involved. We don't want it. We don't want it. It's not because I'm racist or some other thing. You want to call me racist, call me whatever you want. It has nothing to do with that. And 100% has to do with the fact that if we can't find local workers here, then you're not trying hard enough. You need to try harder. There are millions of out-of-work or underemployed tech workers, millions of out-of-work or underemployed machinists, welders, pick a discipline, millions of them. There are millions of physicists doing stuff that's not physics, usually working over on Wall Street or some accounting firm where they can get a job working with numbers or something. There are millions of people that are undereducated or overeducated, underemployed. Millions. This was a thing we were dealing with in 2012. It was one of our largest complaints about NAFTA, is that now we have all these high-skilled labor jobs, high-tech, high-skilled labor jobs, like guys in manufacturing with advanced bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, that the degree is required for the position, but the position doesn't exist anymore because we packed the factory up and sent it somewhere else. And that should not be a thing. We should have our PhDs that can work on solid state physics stuff in the fabrication plant working on that, not dying a slow death of diabetes and unemployment or something.